In the second week of pregnancy, your body is preparing for something big, even though there is no baby developing yet. This moment is more about setting the stage than anything else, like waiting behind the curtain before the show begins. Your uterus is not hosting an embryo yet, but your hormones and reproductive system are already working in the background, organizing every detail quietly and efficiently. This may feel confusing at first. How can it be called pregnancy if nothing is forming yet? But in medicine, pregnancy is counted from your last menstrual period. So week 2 is a foundational moment, not a visible one. Week 2 is about potential. It's about your body getting ready, building momentum for what's to come. Many women at this stage feel normal, with no symptoms at all, and that's completely expected. There is no implantation yet, no embryo, no early pregnancy signs. But your internal system is already beginning a delicate countdown, anticipating ovulation. If you could watch this process happening through a microscopic lens, you would see your hormones moving like the first musical notes of a symphony warming up before the main performance. Even though nothing has been fertilized, your brain and ovaries are communicating constantly, like two partners preparing to coordinate a major event. Hormones rise and fluctuate rhythmically, signaling that ovulation is approaching. Your brain releases FSH, follicle-stimulating hormone, which wakes up follicles inside your ovaries, telling one of them, it's almost your time. This maturation process is subtle, invisible, but crucial for everything that will follow. Your body is literally preparing the starting line. Emotionally, week 2 can be exciting for those trying to conceive. Even without symptoms, there is hope floating in the air, a sense of possibility. Many women start noticing their bodies more closely, tracking changes, paying attention to timing, tuning into every sensation. This anticipation doesn't always show on the outside, but inside, there is a quiet awareness that something meaningful could be beginning. It's a time of expectation, mixed with patience. If you're watching this video because you're trying to conceive, this week is an invitation to take a breath and understand that things are moving, even if you can't see them yet. Your body is aligning itself with nature's rhythm, following a timeline that humans can't speed up or slow down. It's a universal process that happens the same way across cultures, lifestyles, and experiences. Week 2 isn't about visible change. It's about preparing the environment. So while week 2 may seem uneventful on the surface, it is actually the preparation phase for one of the most complex biological journeys a human body can experience. Think of it like the moment before sunrise. Quiet, calm, and full of possibility. Nothing dramatic is happening yet, but everything is building toward a beginning that could change your life. And that silent beginning is just as important as the moment the embryo forms. The idea that pregnancy begins on the first day of your period might sound strange at first, especially for young adults used to thinking of pregnancy as something that starts after conception. But medically, this timing makes perfect sense. Doctors count pregnancy weeks from your last menstrual period, because it's the clearest and most trackable reference point your body gives. Even though fertilization hasn't happened yet, your menstrual cycle marks the beginning of the entire reproductive process leading toward pregnancy. This method of counting allows everyone, patients, doctors, and researchers, to speak the same language when referring to pregnancy progression. Imagine everyone using different definitions of when pregnancy starts. It would be total chaos. Instead, this method provides a consistent timeline. When someone says, "You're 6 weeks pregnant," it reflects a universal counting system, not the actual number of days since the embryo formed. It creates clarity in a naturally complex biological cycle. By using your period as the starting point, you gain a reliable way to understand what your body is preparing for. This is when your cycle resets, your hormones recalibrate, and your ovaries begin choosing the next potential egg for ovulation. Even though this moment may feel ordinary or routine, it is actually the foundation of everything that follows. Your period isn't just the end of the last cycle. It's the kickoff of the next reproductive opportunity. For many people trying to conceive, this knowledge gives a sense of empowerment. Understanding how pregnancy is calculated helps reduce anxiety, confusion, and unrealistic expectations about symptoms or timing. Instead of worrying about whether you should be feeling something, you realize that early pregnancy, especially the first 2 weeks, is silent, internal, and largely hormone-driven. This understanding helps set realistic expectations and lowers stress. When you realize that week 1 and week 2 happen before conception, it becomes much easier to track fertile windows and understand what your body is doing. It makes the process more organized and less mysterious. And for a generation that loves information, data, and self-awareness, this clarity becomes incredibly helpful. It gives you a sense of control in a process that often feels unpredictable. By the time ovulation approaches, and you move into week 2, you are already fully aligned with the medical calendar of pregnancy. You're right on track, even if nothing has happened yet. This countdown system is not about what you can see or feel. It's about following the biological roadmap your body naturally creates. And knowing that roadmap from the start helps you navigate the journey with confidence. During week 2, your body enters the pre-ovulatory phase, a period where everything inside of you is gearing up for ovulation. You might not feel it happening, but the internal coordination is intricate and beautifully synchronized. This is the phase where hormone levels shift dramatically, preparing your ovary to release an egg. Think of it like backstage preparation before a live show. Lights being tested, equipment being set up, and everyone getting into position. What makes this phase incredible is how it reflects the body's ability to work behind the scenes without asking for permission or attention. You don't have to think about it, monitor it, or control it. Your body does all the work itself. Hormones like FSH and estrogen start rising, sending signals to your ovaries that the moment is approaching. These hormones communicate like a perfectly timed sequence, each one telling another exactly what to do and when to do it. As the days progress, one follicle inside your ovary begins to outshine the others. This dominant follicle becomes the one preparing to release the egg, while the others fade into the background. It's a subtle but powerful selection process, almost like nature's way of choosing the strongest candidate. And as it grows, estrogen levels rise, influencing your cervical mucus, your uterine lining, and your overall reproductive environment. Emotionally, the pre-ovulatory phase can feel empowering. Many women report feeling more energized, more confident, and even more social as estrogen rises. These changes aren't random. They are biological signals aligned with the fertile phase. Your body is preparing for conception, and that preparation often extends to your mood, your energy levels, and even how connected you feel to yourself. It's a subtle shift, but many notice it once they understand what's happening. As ovulation approaches, your reproductive system finishes its preparations. The egg is almost ready, the uterine lining is thickening, and your cervical mucus becomes more fertile. Your body is essentially creating the perfect scenario for conception. Whether or not you're actively trying to conceive, your biology is doing exactly what it was designed to do. And understanding this helps you appreciate the complexity and intelligence of your own body. By the time ovulation actually happens, everything has already been prepared during this pre-ovulatory phase. It's the groundwork that makes fertilization possible. So even though week 2 may feel like nothing is happening, the truth is that this stage is one of the most critical in your entire reproductive cycle. It's preparation at its finest, quiet, precise, and full of purpose. During the second week of the cycle, progesterone begins to play a major supporting role, even before ovulation happens. This hormone works quietly but powerfully, transforming the uterine lining into a soft, thick, nutrient-rich environment. Imagine it like preparing a bed with extra blankets and pillows, making sure everything is cozy, warm, and perfectly set for a potential guest. That guest would be a fertilized egg, but even if no fertilization happens, progesterone still performs its job with precision. As progesterone rises, the tissue inside the uterus develops layers of blood, fluids, and essential nutrients. This is called the endometrium, and its purpose is to hold and nourish an embryo during early pregnancy. If you were to zoom in microscopically, you would see the lining turning more sponge-like, more structured, more ready. This transformation is subtle and invisible from the outside, but inside your body, it is architecture in motion, construction happening cell by cell. One of the most fascinating parts of this process is how your body invests energy and resources into preparing even when it doesn't know yet whether fertilization will occur. It's like reserving a table at a restaurant, just in case. The uterus becomes a place of potential, building an environment so welcoming that a fertilized egg would be able to safely attach, grow, and develop. And even though you can't feel this lining thickening, your hormonal system is hard at work. For many young women, understanding progesterone's role reduces anxiety about symptoms like bloating, sensitivity, mood changes, or a heavier feeling in the lower abdomen. These sensations aren't random. They stem from your body preparing carefully for a possible pregnancy. Progesterone has a calming, warming effect on the body. It slows digestion slightly, increases internal temperature, and signals the uterus to stay soft and still. These small changes contribute to the overall sense of something is happening, even if ovulation hasn't occurred yet. This hormone is one of the reasons the menstrual cycle is so beautifully synchronized. Estrogen prepares the egg and the fertile mucus. Progesterone prepares the lining and creates the safe landing zone. Together, they make reproduction possible. If one works without the other, the system doesn't flow correctly. But during week 2, the balance between these hormones begins to form, shaping the conditions for conception in a very natural, intuitive way. So even though there is no embryo yet in week 2, the work progesterone begins to do is essential. It builds the future home where a new life might anchor itself. It creates depth, protection, and stability. And for those trying to conceive, knowing this helps you understand that your body is not waiting passively. It's actively preparing, strengthening, and organizing everything needed for the possibility of creation. As the second week unfolds, the endometrium becomes richer and more welcoming with every passing day. This lining is made of blood, fluid, and nutrients that act like the first meal a fertilized egg would receive. Even if pregnancy hasn't begun yet, the uterus is already preparing the environment with remarkable precision. It's almost like nature is decorating a nursery long before the baby arrives, ensuring everything is gentle, protective, and functional. The endometrium doesn't simply thicken, it transforms. It becomes filled with tiny blood vessels, ready to deliver oxygen and nourishment the moment implantation occurs. Under a microscope, it would look like a soft, textured landscape, almost like thick moss covering a forest floor. This environment is essential for early development, because before the placenta forms, the embryo feeds directly from this lining. It's the first support system, the first source of life. Your body invests so much energy into the endometrium because early pregnancy is incredibly delicate. Before an embryo can grow, it must attach safely, and that attachment can only happen if the lining is ready. This entire preparation occurs every month, whether or not you're trying to conceive. And for young adults learning about fertility, recognizing how much your body naturally prepares can feel empowering. You are not starting from zero. Your biology already knows exactly what to do. During this stage, some women feel subtle changes in their bodies, like minor cramping or increased warmth in their lower abdomen. These sensations often come from increased blood flow to the uterus and the hormonal shift happening behind the scenes. Even if you don't notice anything physically, internally your reproductive system is creating a space of protection. It's like a biological safety net forming layer by layer. If fertilization occurs in week 3, the embryo will travel down the fallopian tube and arrive in the uterus, looking for this exact environment. Without a strong endometrium, implantation wouldn't happen correctly. So the effort your body puts into this lining is not just preparation, it is the foundation for every successful pregnancy. It's the soil where a seed might grow, and nature makes sure that soil is rich and ready every month. Understanding this transformation helps you appreciate the incredible design of your reproductive cycle. The endometrium is more than a tissue that sheds monthly. It is a living, dynamic environment that holds the power to support life. Even before a baby exists, your body takes care of the place where that life might begin. And that quiet preparation is one of the most beautiful parts of early pregnancy. In week 2, something extraordinary happens inside the ovaries. As ovulation approaches, the ovaries prepare to release an egg, and sometimes more than one. Most cycles release one egg, but biology is full of surprises. Some women naturally release 2 or even 3 eggs in the same cycle, which can lead to fraternal twins or multiple pregnancies. This is not common, but it is absolutely possible, and it shows how varied and flexible the reproductive system can be. Inside your ovary, several follicles begin to mature, but usually only one becomes dominant. This follicle grows larger day by day, preparing to burst and release the egg. But in some cycles, 2 follicles mature equally and release their eggs at the same time. This is how fraternal twins happen. 2 eggs, 2 sperm, 2 individual genetic combinations. Your body, even without external assistance, is capable of this impressive level of variability. Knowing this helps young adults understand that fertility is not a one-size-fits-all process. Every body is unique, every cycle is different, and every ovary functions with its own rhythm. Even if you can't feel it happening, this selection of eggs is one of the most delicate processes in human biology. The ovaries are constantly communicating with your brain through hormones, deciding how many eggs to release, and preparing for the possibility of conception. Multiple ovulation often comes with stronger fertile symptoms. More cervical mucus, a stronger sensation on one side of the pelvis, or even heightened libido. These changes happen because estrogen increases significantly when more follicles are active. For those trying to conceive, this can increase the chances of pregnancy. But even for those not trying, it's fascinating to understand how adaptive your reproductive system can be. This process also reminds us of the natural strength of the ovaries. They are capable of producing and releasing multiple eggs, creating multiple opportunities for life. Even though most cycles lead to one release, the potential for more is always there. And that makes week 2 a moment filled with biological excitement. Your body is preparing for something unpredictable, something naturally aligned with creation. When ovulation finally happens, whether it's one egg or several, the stage is set. The body has done everything it can to maximize the chances of pregnancy. It's a moment of biological strategy, where timing, hormones, and cellular development come together. And understanding this variability helps you appreciate how powerful and dynamic your reproductive cycle really is. As week 2 progresses, estrogen becomes the star of the show. This hormone increases steadily, creating the conditions the body needs before ovulation. One of the clearest signs of rising estrogen is the change in cervical mucus. It becomes clear, slippery, stretchy, and resembles raw egg white. This type of mucus is nature's way of helping sperm travel more easily, survive longer, and reach the egg with greater success. This fertile mucus is one of the most reliable signs that ovulation is near. Many women begin to feel more lubricated during the day, even without arousal. It's simply biology doing its job. The mucus becomes a highway for sperm, helping them swim faster and protecting them from the natural acidity of the vagina. It's an incredible example of how perfectly the reproductive system coordinates every detail to favor conception. When young women learn about these changes, it often shifts their understanding of their bodies. Instead of seeing mucus as something inconvenient, they begin to recognize it as a powerful biological signal. This awareness makes fertility more understandable and less mysterious. And for those trying to conceive, it becomes one of the most important indicators to track. Estrogen also influences mood, energy, and confidence. Many women report feeling more social, more attractive, and more assertive during this period. This isn't a coincidence. It's the body's natural response to increased fertility. Evolution has shaped these hormonal patterns over thousands of years, making people feel their best when conception is most likely. Understanding this brings comfort and clarity to what might otherwise feel like emotional randomness. As ovulation approaches, the combination of fertile mucus and rising estrogen creates the perfect scenario for conception. The reproductive system is fully aligned, the body is receptive, and everything feels more fluid and connected. Even if you are not trying to conceive, your body still follows this natural cycle, reminding you that biology functions with rhythm and intelligence. When you pay attention to these signs, fertility becomes less of a guessing game and more of a predictable pattern. Rising estrogen, fertile mucus, and increased confidence are all part of the same beautifully coordinated process. And week 2 is where it all begins. Once ovulation happens, the egg's lifespan is surprisingly short, only 12 to 24 hours. This tiny window is one of the reasons the reproductive cycle is full of timing and precision. The egg waits only briefly for fertilization, and if no sperm arrives, it dissolves and is later released with the next menstrual period. This short lifespan shows how delicate and fast-moving the conception process really is. Because the egg lives so briefly, the body prepares everything in advance. Fertile mucus, thickened uterine lining, and hormonal shifts all happen before ovulation precisely to maximize the chances of fertilization. The sperm actually need to be present before or during ovulation, because once the egg releases, the clock starts ticking. It's an intense 24-hour race happening inside your body, completely unnoticed from the outside. For young adults trying to conceive, understanding this timing reduces confusion and frustration. Many believe they must have intercourse on the exact moment of ovulation, but biology works differently. Sperm can survive inside the female body for up to 5 days, which means conception usually happens because sperm are already waiting when the egg is released. The body knows the egg's lifespan is short, so it prepares the environment ahead of time. Emotionally, this can bring comfort. Instead of obsessing over the exact minute of ovulation, You can focus on the days leading up to it. The short survival period of the egg makes conception a matter of preparation, not pressure. And understanding this timing helps shift the mindset from anxiety to awareness. Your body isn't working against you. It's giving you a clear framework to follow. This short window also adds to the beauty of the reproductive cycle. Something so small, so delicate, and so time-sensitive holds the potential to begin a life. That fragility doesn't make the process weaker. It makes it more meaningful. It shows how every detail matters, how every cycle brings a fresh chance, and how life begins not just with an egg, but with the perfect alignment of timing. So while the egg's lifespan is brief, the preparation leading up to it is weeks long. And that preparation is what truly shapes the chances of conception. Because the egg lives only 12 to 24 hours, the fertile window expands to 7 days to increase the chances of conception. This window includes the 3 days before ovulation, the day of ovulation, and the 3 days after. The reason is simple. Sperm can survive in the reproductive tract for several days, waiting for the egg. This creates a flexible and forgiving time frame where pregnancy can occur. Understanding this 7-day window makes fertility tracking much more manageable. Instead of aiming for one specific day, you have an entire week where conception is possible. This helps reduce pressure and allows for more natural, relaxed attempts at pregnancy. And for those not trying to conceive, it helps clarify why timing matters so much when preventing pregnancy. During this fertile window, your body sends multiple signals. Cervical mucus becomes clear and stretchy. Libido increases. Energy may rise, and emotions feel more heightened. These signs are not random. They reflect your biological alignment with fertility. Many young women use these indicators to track their cycles naturally, gaining a deeper connection with their bodies. Emotionally, this fertile window often feels like a shift. Many people describe feeling more optimistic, more confident, and more socially open. This happens because estrogen peaks right before ovulation, and this hormone naturally enhances mood and motivation. Whether you're trying to conceive or simply observing your cycle, this week often stands out as the most dynamic part of the month. From a biological perspective, the 7-day window is a safety net. It ensures that even with the egg's short lifespan, sperm have ample time to arrive and wait. It also shows how intelligently the reproductive system compensates for the egg's fragility. Your body maximizes every opportunity without rushing or forcing anything. It's a cycle built with flexibility and balance. Knowing this window helps you make informed decisions, whether you're trying to get pregnant or trying to avoid it. And it turns the reproductive cycle into something predictable, understandable, and far less intimidating. The fertile window is not chaos. It's a structured timeline your body follows every month. When millions of sperm enter the reproductive tract, only one will successfully fertilize the egg. This moment is incredibly fast, incredibly rare, and incredibly meaningful. As soon as the sperm penetrates the egg, a chemical reaction occurs that blocks all other sperm from entering. It is nature's way of saying, "This one is enough," and in that instant, everything about the future baby is determined. Inside that single fertilized egg, known as a zygote, the entire genetic code is formed. The baby's sex, eye color, skin tone, hair type, height potential, and countless other traits are locked into place. It's astonishing to imagine that such complexity is decided in a fraction of a second. 2 microscopic cells merge, and suddenly a full blueprint for a human life exists. This moment is one of the most powerful biological events, from chaos to order, from millions of possibilities to one outcome. It is life choosing its path. And even though you can't feel this happening, inside your body, a transformation begins that will unfold week after week if implantation occurs. The story of a new human begins with a single decision made at the cellular level. For young adults fascinated by science or planning for pregnancy, understanding this moment deepens the connection to the reproductive process. It removes the idea of randomness and highlights the precision of biology. Every genetic detail is a combination of 2 families, 2 histories, 2 sets of DNA blending perfectly into one new identity. Emotionally, this moment carries weight. It symbolizes the beginning of potential, the creation of uniqueness. No 2 fertilizations are identical, and no 2 zygotes carry the same traits. Even identical twins, formed later, begin from one fertilized egg. That shows how special this moment is. It's the start of something unrepeatable. When fertilization happens, It marks the transition from the second week of pregnancy to the third, the week when your body becomes officially pregnant. The egg will begin dividing, traveling, and preparing for implantation. And from that moment onward, the journey continues one miracle at a time.